If you're wondering why this law school admission cycle is the slowest one ever, at least part of the reason could be due to the fact that the Supreme Court banned race-based affirmative action back in June. There was a recent article in Reuters titled "Affirmative Action Ban Shook Up Law School Admissions in 2023. The issue for law schools is that they are ideologically committed to maintaining racially diverse classes, but they cannot explicitly consider an applicant's race when making their decisions on who to admit and who to reject. It's a really tricky situation for them, which is why Dean Andy Kornblatt, for example, of Georgetown Law, featured in this Reuters article, says that his admission office has chosen to mask or hide the racial backgrounds of applicants when evaluating them in order to ward off potential legal challenges from those who would contend that Georgetown and others like it are violating the Supreme Court's ban on race-based affirmative action. This is one way they choose to, quote, insulate themselves from the charge that they are violating the ban on affirmative action in an attempt to create racially diverse classes. It's a very tricky situation for them. A lot of law schools, including Harvard, for example, have replaced the diversity statement with a statement of perspective, the so-called diversity statement being replaced with adversity statements, where law schools invite you to share more about your background, any hardships you faced, any unique perspective that you bring to the table, but they are not explicitly asking about racial or ethnic background. Columbia Law School actually considered adding a video interview component to their application this year, but removed it from the application after news of this went viral on conservative websites, pointing out this was an easy way for schools to discover the race, or at least apparent race, of an applicant, which would of course be an attempt to potentially violate the Supreme Court's ban on race-based affirmative action. So while law schools cannot ask you for your race and they are prohibited from considering race in their decision-making, they are still allowed to consider hardships you faced, challenges you faced in making you who you are today. And of course, that could include, for example, any racial discrimination that you have experienced. And if you do choose to engage in a video interview with a law school, either one offered by default over Zoom or one offered via Kira, where you record a video discussion, answering questions, or you even ask for an informational interview, those could all be ways that you end up sharing more about yourself, including your appearance, with admission officers, which of course you are allowed to share. They just typically are not explicitly asking for it these days because of the ban on affirmative action. Now, so many law schools have added these optional adversity statements or similar to their applications this cycle, which of course makes it more work for you to put together your applications and more work for schools to evaluate those application essays. But I always recommend never turning down an opportunity to share more about yourself with admission officers. Yes, it is more work for you. It may mean that you're going to apply to fewer law schools, but you could also strategically and cleverly reuse the same essays for multiple schools in order to maximize your offers, maximize your ability to negotiate scholarships, and of course, choose the best law school for you. If you are still studying for the LSAT and you want to remove that load of working on the essays as well, my team and I would be glad to help you out. At LSAT Unplugged, we offer an unlimited essay editing package and consulting for you. To remove that load, of course, we're not going to write your essays for you. That would be plagiarism, of course, but we are happy to help you take your rough drafts and turn them into compelling personal statements and other application essays. Even if you have not yet written a rough draft, we will ask you some guiding questions and then take the raw material that you share with us and help you structure and craft it into compelling narratives, sharing your story, whether it's a story of your diversity, adversity that you have overcome, or just any story you want to tell about yourself to share more about your background and what you bring to the table as a strong law school applicant, of course, freeing you up to spend more time focusing on the LSAT. And of course, if you're done with the LSAT and you want help just creating the strongest essays possible with folks who have deep experience in admissions, my team and I would be glad to help. Check out the link below this video to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. And if you found this video helpful, please do me a favor and share it with someone who needs to see it. I don't do any advertising for this channel. I rely only on word of mouth to help get the word out, and your sharing this video does make a big difference. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.